To me, part of the situation is a welcome thing, even though it turned sour because of either misdirection or mishandling or infiltration or however I may see it. But it had put us under a tense state. It's a wake-up call for people to do the needful. We can't remain like this. I don't know how we got here, but I think it's a wake-up call. But we should be able to manage and take the best advantage of this wake-up call and wake up properly and address the issues, both silent and open ones, as raised by the disturbance. Oh well, like I said, it's a wake-up call. The protest is a legitimate and constitutional right for anybody to have a protest, to air your view, but it must be peaceful. It must not be used to inflict violence on others. To that extent, of the youth protesting, say, EndSARS at the beginning, is your right to handle a peaceful protest. It's a constitutional, fundamental human rights for association, freedom of association, but it's also guided. You mustn't be use it to inflict violence on others. So for the first week of that protest, I think it was peaceful, and they made some points which came to the government saw as an agreement and agreed to do some certain things before it turned violent, because we believe that some miscreants or hoodlums hijacked it. How the political inclusion of young people. Exclusion. Of course. They are excluded from. I must tell you that the young ones are excluded from the political arrangement, not just because they were deliberately excluded, but because of the circumstances. The platform for political activities does not favor them. They don't have it doesn't favor them. They're excluded because of the barriers put in place. But if we have inclusion of the young people in what we are doing, then it will solve the problem, and that's what they're also asking for. You have the young parties, whatever they call it, but they should also be able to, like for example, we lower the age for you to contest election, but if you lower the age, have you lowered the money? If not. So we must make conscious effort that certain means and ways to accommodate the youth in the political activities, of course, is their right. Take-home pay of members of National Assembly has been very topical. People talk, some talk out of ignorance, some talk out of experience, some talk without understanding exactly what.
Talking out of ignorance. What do you mean?
Yes,
talking out of ignorance?
Because they do not understand exactly what is the take-home pay. They do not understand exactly what is the what a legislator really earns and the duties of a legislator. They seem to confuse issues with what could be about running the office or running the constituency or running the office and salary. So they should be able to differentiate that. You see, are you saying now that the office of the National Assembly members should not be run? Are you now saying that National Assembly will not have legislative aids? What happens to all what not about them? So they should be able to differentiate what is their take-home pay, what they earn, and what they use in running the activities that surround the office. Let me give you an example. If you pick a minister, what is the salary of a minister, and what is the running cost of the ministry? What is the running cost of the PAMSEC? What is the running cost of a director? What is the running cost of the president, the White Service vote? What is the running cost of a director general, a DG, in, for example, in SEC, in CBN, in petroleum industries? What is the running cost of? If you look at it, you understand that. Talk about the office and not about the person. If, for example, a legislator is permitted to do several trips to and fro to his constituency and so on, the money using during those trips are not part of his salary. The running that you must carry 1/8 if you're traveling are not part of his salary. And also, if we're going to trim down, presidential system is quite expensive and huge. But I'm not saying that corruption should be put in it. The thing is that the legislators are using that money to do those duties that it was mapped out for. For example, is it done? Is it doable? And these days we are now going digital and so on. Let me give you an example of South African concept. Legislators are given tickets upfront. So if, for example, now I'm from Abia State, I'm given a ticket that I'm expected to go home once every week and return. I give you a ticket to run that. Nobody gives you cash there. So that once you get to the airport, any available flight going to Port Harcourt, I just tear one ticket and give them. They will now go and discount it. So if I don't travel, they will know I did not travel. If I travel, I will spend the ticket. And if you don't travel, they'll give you query. Why don't you travel? So you can have a way to fashion this. They make sure they are in touch with their constituency. But here, if you're giving cash, you say you're earning much, but you have to spend it. Now, I want to go home after this program. One-way ticket is 70,000 naira economy, and I'm to return, and I'm to travel one legislative aid. So, to and fro now, calculate is what it gives. So it's rather to cut off that angle. So you don't just say, this is your take-home pay. What is your expenditure? I've asked the House, and we did it once, the needs assessment. It was done by social groups and all whatnot. And they came out with the needs assessment for you to function as a legislator by excellence. This is what you need to function absolutely. And this is what is your take-home pay. So I agree that we should streamline and look at it properly in times with realities. I've seen a lot of comparative analysis done in US, done here and so on. For example, in US, you don't compare with us here. You get calls that are purely about your work. Not about your wife is your labor, or your roof is leaking, or you're going to do burial, or this is a mortuary, and all whatnot. So, and then again, the totality of the environment differs from ours. It differs. So we must look at it in the total context, not all. But all the same, the youth are also right in making their demands.